Our success depends on our participation, regardless of which way the pendulum of power swings.
Dreams from My Father, a story of race and inheritance. A dream of a common African man visiting Western world and thinking to change the traditional old life of Kenyan people leaves him outcast, bitter, and alone in his own country, which inspires a son to find an identity in a world of class and race. A first African American president of the United States of America. What he inherited from his African father and an average American mother, and what made him a person of dignity, integrity, and optimism. That is the question which leaves us stunned and curious to look into his simple yet prime life.
Our pride is based on a very simple premise, summed up in a declaration made over 200 years ago. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal.
Barak, a simple African name which simply means a blessed child of an African father, a blessed child of an American mother, born with a love to make a difference in an average American life. Barack Obama, born on August 4th, 1961 at Honolulu, Hawaii. His parents divorced when he was just 2 years old, and he shared his entire life with his mother, lacking his father's love. And when he finally visited his father's country in 1982 at his death ceremony, that changed his view towards life. Born to a father of traditional tribal culture, and their cultural perspective of the modern world over race and identity made him set a vision for modern America, where every person should be treated as equal and independent.
When I say that my grandparents were prototypical, I think what they represented was the best in sort of average American life, sort of decent people. They were liberal, but not in any ideological way. They just wanted to do the right thing.
As a child, Barack Obama received immense love from his mother and grandparents. They taught him the values of the modern world and how to prosper in the country of mixed races. In early childhood, he lived in Indonesia with his mother and stepfather before moving to Hawaii at the age of 10. He was one amongst 6 black students to graduate from Punahou School in Hawaii in 1979. Being a person of 2 races never stopped him achieving mandatory steps in life. He received a degree in Bachelor's of Arts in Political Science from Columbia University, and he also attended Harvard Law School after working as a business analyst in New York City. Further, he shifted his focus on community services and community development projects, where he learned to give more to the nation and to average humanity. In a keynote address at a 2004 Democratic National Convention, he stated that there is no liberal or conservative America. There is no black or white or Latino or Asian America. There's only the United States of America. This vision of uniting a nation based on humanity and equality, rather than focusing on racial injustice, set his ground for the presidential race, and that made him stand out at the 2008 presidential election. Everyone knows Barack Obama was elected as 44th American president on January 20th, 2009, and re-elected in January 2012. Then what was his agenda at that time? So, before delving into his political life, there are major aspects of his life that shaped his personality as a normal human being. He worked as a civil rights attorney and taught constitutional law at University of Chicago Law School. Between 1992 to 2004, he worked in community services and was often seen at religious conventions. The spiritual faith and determination of the empowering average American life led him to write books on faith, religion, and normal government politics. In one of his books, he has written, I believe in evolution, scientific inquiry, and global warming. I believe in free speech, whether politically correct or politically incorrect. And I am suspicious of using the government to impose anybody's religious beliefs, including my own, on non-believers. These are the lines from his book, The Audacity of Hope, Thoughts on Reclaiming the American Dream. And that was and is his American dream. And was that his original election agenda?
I'm asking you to believe, not in my ability to bring about change, but in yours. I'm asking you to hold fast to that faith written into our founding documents.
The People's President, Obama focused on domestic policy in his first 100 days of administration, and he often seemed to be appreciating the team he was working with. He believed that development and authenticity of a nation's progress is dependent on average working people. In his starting days, he signed the Fair Pay Act to ensure the growth of common working people. Focusing on unemployment and economic growth, he established an economic advisory board with the Recovery and Reinvestment Act in 2010, and to facilitate better health care programs, he commenced the Affordable Care Act in 2009, which is totally focusing on health care, Medicare, and also known as Obamacare, further also focusing on counter-terrorism, foreign policy, and humanitarian assistance. President Obama committed on destroying ISIL, an Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant, a terrorist organization. The military performed various airstrikes and ground assistance to the counter-terrorism alliances. On May 2, 2011, he announced the death of al-Qaeda leader Osama bin Laden, honoring the memory of the lives lost on September 9, 2001 in the World Trade Center terrorist attack. President Obama also obtained congressional approval for military action against Syria following the Syrian regime's use of chemical weapons on civilians. He led to the signing of a New START, Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty, a treaty with Russia, which limited the two countries on use of strategic arms over the course of 7 years through inspections and verification. And under a Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, JCPOA, with Iran, U.S. and other partners tended to reduce and monitor all Iranian nuclear activities. President Obama is also the first sitting president to visit the Cuban nation in 2016 after 90 years, and he normalized the relations with the country. Despite being committed to his duty, former President Barack Obama never lost his touch of familial and social life. He met his wife, Michelle Obama, during his Harvard studies, and since then has been devoted to the prosperity of relations and commitment. They both have 2 daughters, and they love them dearly and passionately. Also, in his presidential term and busy schedule, he never seems to lose touch of the commonness. He visited schools, bookstores, cafes, had food at public places, and even appeared to take a stroll in a park and enjoyed engaging with people.
You know, one of the things that you realize is how much any success you had depended on some critical people who were there at critical times in your life.
Barack Obama is a man of value and hopes. He always talks about his relations and family and always appreciates the people around him. Coming from a mid-class American family and struggling to set an impression on the world, Barack Obama has achieved immense success and popularity. The ground-to-earth nature gave him respect, not only in his country, but all over the world. He might even have been considered as the first African-American president, but in reality, he has been valued for his dignity, integrity, and commitment towards society. As of 2025, he is still seen to be working in his Democratic Party and development of the nation. And whatever impression he left, it's non-erasable. He is prime as a man, as a president, and as a leader. He achieved his dream as he dreamed, and he always lives in the hearts of common American people.
First time in my life I felt like the White House belonged to everybody.
Citizen, it has been the honor of my life to serve you as president.